Hi everyone, I am Niyi Fakeye and you're welcome again to Mentor-ish. So today we'll be talking about the topic how to become a wealth of resources. Now I'm actually very hyped about today's conversation because I have with me a wonderful guest here. Now this person I have here with me is my mentor. This person has been my mentor for years. And when you see me, I am literally a reflection of this person. I mean, I would boldly say everything I know, or almost everything I know, is as a result of this person, right? Now, this person is a businessman, a savvy businessman. He is the CEO of Olande Global, which is an agro commodity export company, amongst many other businesses, right? And he also consults for a lot of business owners, a lot of brands, CEOs like himself. And I consult him on literally almost everything about my life. And the annoying part that I tease him about sometimes is that 9 out of 10 is always right. So without further ado, I'd like to introduce my brother, my mentor, my best friend, Olaniyi Fakeye. Ta-da! My brother, it is so good to have you here. I know you are a very busy person. I know this camera thing is not really your thing, but you just have to be on this show. Thank you for doing this with your
My
sister.
pleasure, my pleasure.
Thank you, my brother. So I'd like you to introduce yourself so my viewers can get to meet you.
After the very interesting introduction, what more can I say?
Right.
My name is Olaniyi Fakeye. I manage Olande Global Services Limited, a company into the export of agro commodities from Nigeria to other parts of the world. Um, I consult informally, as she said. It's kind of scary, but it's an informal thing I do, more like when friends sit together and we have discussions about how best to move forward with decisions, business decisions, life decisions, how best to take steps that are going to be favorable in achieving success in life. We do this. It is not something I do formally, but 9 times out of 10, most of the times when they come around for those advice, they get what they want, and this keeps them keep coming. Thank you.
Right. So I also have to say this. This is the only person that can make me lazy because I like the soft girl life and I like to just relax and be taken care of. So I like the fact that whenever I call my brother and I'm like, my brother, I need this, my brother, I need this idea, my brother, I need this connection, I need this person. I just know my brother is always there. And it is so cool. I'm so bummed to have someone you can always talk to. So I'll be asking you some questions,
Okay.
and I'd like you to, of course, give us your robust answer, right? And like I said earlier, the reason why I have you here is because I admire you so much because you are a go-to person. You know, you're always a problem solver. I haven't seen any problem that anybody I know has brought to you, right? That by the grace of God, you've not been able to find
You
your
are
way
scaring me.
around. But it's the truth, right? I know it's a lot of persons. Of course, I can't call names, right? So that's why I know that this topic today is something that you will do great justice. And I feel like we can learn from you, right? So yes, I'll be asking you some questions.
No problem. I'm hoping to answer all the questions you have.
I'm curious, you know, I always wonder, and like I always ask you, but of course, I just want you to share with us. How did you become this person, this go to person that is, to me, I would say Mr. Fix It, right? I see a lot of your friends, I mean, people who are doing very well, businesses that are thriving. And, I just watch in awe how they come to you, for advice, business advice that helps them and also takes their businesses forward. And I honestly think you need to begin to charge for your consultation. You need to charge consultation fee, but
Uh,
that's just the side note, right? But how did you become this person, this go-to person, this resourceful person?
Starting out, I always knew I didn't want to get into paid employment.
Mm,
I always knew I wanted to do my business.
Mm,
This I got to know due to experiences from our parents
mm,
and how I saw my father's life
mm,
pan out
mm,
after during his years of work in active service, and then after he resigned or retired as it is.
mm,
And I wasn't too psyched about the whole thing.
mm,
I knew if he had spent those amount of years in his own business,
mm,
he would have done way better than he did. Not to say he didn't do good, not to
mm,
say he wasn't successful in
mm,
his own right, because he
mm,
was. He
mm.
sent us to good schools.
Yeah.
Um, we, in the first sum of being successful,
Mm,
he is successful. He was successful at the time, but
mm,
I just knew I could do better.
mm,
So that made me very hungry about
mm,
what it takes to succeed.
mm,
What does it take to really achieve the kind of excellence that
mm,
I desire?
mm,
And that's sent me on that wild goose chase knowledge,
mm,
of knowledge searching, soul searching, listening to people that I felt had an ounce of whatever it is that I needed to soak in.
mm,
And the more you keep acquiring knowledge, the more you keep um, hearing people that have what it is that you have, the more you
mm,
keep reading. At the point it was, I was reading. I read over 500 books.
mm,
That I don't think I do as much now,
mm,
but during those period, a lot of things I got subconsciously, some I
mm,
consciously, but a lot of things were put in me,
mm,
and that's why I have innately I have informations that sometimes people are like, "How did you get to have this answer?"
mm,
I got it over the years of deep research, deep
mm,
inquiries, asking myself questions,
mm,
purpose-driven questions,
mm,
and then that's what got us here.
mm. And I'm actually glad that I am a beneficiary of that because I remember when I was about 2021 that I was trying to find my way through life. You exposed me to a lot of books, which you mentioned something about having this information like soaked into your subconscious. I feel like it's the same for me because I see a lot of things and my friends are like, oh, how do you know this? Like, you're wise beyond your years. And in my head, I'm like, oh God, thank you that I have a brother that showed me the way early in life. Sorry,
You're
I'm
welcome.
hyping you this much, but that is exactly how I feel. You know that.
I know, I understand. I
Right.
understand. That's what reading um singleness of purpose does to one.
Mm,
When you are sure about what it is that you want,
mm,
and you leave no stone unturned for in achieving it,
mm,
you become light years ahead of your peers.
mm,
You become a resourceful person,
mm,
a go-to person,
mm,
because people are actually also looking for solutions and answers to their questions.
mm,
They just don't want to go through the rigor
mm,
or go through the rigmarole of what it takes to
mm,
achieve that type of success. They're finding the easy way out.
mm,
And that's for people, they then get to look for people that they feel have paid the price.
mm.
And that's why, one way or the other, people that have done the hard work, that have done the labor, become very, 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 very useful or pivotal in the achievement of that for them.
Mm. Okay. My second question is, what is your learning process like? Especially now that you are busy with so many things, businesses, work, family, and you don't have as much time to read as you used to. So what is your learning process now?
Okay, one thing I'm very good at is I listen. I listen from my heart. I sometimes I even close my eyes when I do, so I don't get distracted by the happenings around me or outside noise. I do a lot of listening. I do a lot of I'm contemporary in my views as
Mm,
to wanting to soak up all types of information, good, bad, ugly,
mm,
and wanting to see what it is I can pick from whatever it is I'm experiencing at the time.
mm,
I'm also to a certain level artistic.
mm,
I it helps me draw out inspiration from things that naturally would not have meant anything to anybody.
mm,
So listening, that, and then the fact that I really do think.
mm,
I think even when I'm not thinking.
mm,
I That's a little joke I play on myself, saying that I think even because there's always something
mm,
to brood over. There's
mm,
always something that I'm chasing,
mm,
and I make sure it is the major or cogent point that ruminates over my brain at that point in time.
mm,
So everything that I experience, life experiences, social gatherings, I'm unknowingly or unconsciously looking for answers to
mm,
solve them.
mm,
So I learn from, as Solomon would say, the ants, study the ants and say take their food during the period. It's the same.
mm,
If you are a very intelligent person,
mm,
if you've worked hard in developing that part of you, you become very cerebral such that
mm,
you naturally pick information even from places where you never would have thought
mm,
there are information to pick. You would
mm,
listen, you might even hear an idiot and the person made one line of statement that solves a question that you've been asking yourself for a very long time.
mm,
So it is not like it is one process, it is
mm,
just being open to listen to a lot of
mm,
people, being open to experience life and enjoy it,
mm,
being open to um, being open to the Bible,
mm,
because that is one very strong um, book
mm,
that has been of great influence to my life,
mm,
and generally having singleness of purpose,
mm,
knowing that this purpose is what it is that I want to fulfill,
mm,
and I use everything around me,
mm,
people, resource, whatever it is that is around me to make sure that I achieve that. So that's my learning process
mm.
basically.
Because I think I also learned a number of things from you. I remember you always say this: you have two ears and one mouth, and that means you should listen double the time you speak. And that is
That's true.
something you say that every time. That is something I am learning to do, because I noticed that whenever you're having conversations with anyone, you really listen, and then sometimes you're like, okay, did you mean this and this and this and this? And you're like, maybe there are thoughts you have in your mind, but you don't exactly want to share. But because you are really listening, you're able to figure out the person and figure out what the person really means. So I'm learning to do that. And also, formally, I used to be so streamlined with my information. Like I only used to focus on things I'm interested in. But seeing you that you tend to have an understanding of almost everything, as we're talking about entertainment, like what's happening, what's in vogue. I'm talking about art, I'm talking about travels, I'm talking about different things, I'm talking about politics, and you seem to have an idea of everything. So now I'm also becoming much more receptive to information, and also like beginning to listen and get as much information as I can from
Um,
every and anything.
the truth is one has to be a total man.
Mm,
And being a total man means you have to have a well-rounded information about the society in which you live in.
mm,
And now that has become smaller because of the global factor.
mm,
So it means that you might think the way you do things is the best,
mm,
and then you find out that someone is even doing bigger and better things that challenge your thought pattern.
mm,
So the more exposed, the more open you make yourself, the more relatable, the more soul searching you allow yourself to be,
mm,
the more you would consume information. And the
mm,
mind is a very beautiful tool.
mm,
It's 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 it works on whatever it is you present to it.
mm,
So in as much as yes, you have to culture it,
mm,
you have to you have to control the direction in which it takes your thought pattern.
mm,
You still have to expose it to enough materials to be able to work with.
mm,
So there has to be that healthy balance.
mm,
Experience, work on, like I tell people, the best asset to give your kids is adventure,
mm,
not necessarily the property, because in most cases they would sell that property to get the adventure.
mm,
But if they have the adventure with a single, just by having one information, it could get all the assets that you never even thought was possible.
mm,
So life is all about the experiences and the adventures we experience,
mm,
and that's how I have been able to develop myself.
mm. Thank you. Okay, so I'm also curious about this question. How do you share so much knowledge, so much information, without the fear of um, maybe someone stealing your ideas or your information? You're just very free giving with your information and knowledge, right? So, how do you do that without any of these fears or worries?
Okay. I know what it is I want for myself. It is not because I am seeing somebody do it or I am trying to copy or be like someone.
Mm,
It is about what I want to be, who I want to be, and that I feel can only be unique to me.
mm,
It's like you give all of us the same resource to make cars.
mm,
You're going to make a Benz, I'm going to make a BM.
mm,
Someone else is going to make a Toyota, another
mm,
person going to make a Kia.
mm,
We can't make the same type of design. It's not
mm,
going to be possible. We don't think alike.
mm,
So even if we get the same result, it's going to be unique in our ways with our
mm,
colors and flavors.
mm,
That's how I feel life is about.
mm,
And God is the best artist.
mm,
He created some people fat, created some people slim,
mm,
some people interesting, some people beautiful. So it is one of the ways you have to think
mm,
and think abundance.
mm,
Sharing information with people
mm,
doesn't necessarily take away from you.
mm,
It just makes you, in most cases, you even use those people as prototypes to see if your ideas actually work.
mm,
So when you advise people and then they do it, it is like I tell people, fail fast so
mm,
you know how best to do it.
mm,
They would have taken the plunge to take
mm,
the advice you've given,
mm,
and you would have seen what works in that idea.
mm,
It is a way of you failing in another person.
mm,
So that's why I don't see it as a problem.
mm,
And whatever it is you achieve, as long as it is not in the frame of work that I have planned, because to a large extent, I think I designed or I have put what I want to achieve in life
mm,
into a book,
mm,
like written it down, pen to paper,
mm,
for more than 15 years ago.
mm,
It can't be smaller than that. It can only be bigger. But it
mm,
is a framework for me to work by.
mm.
And I don't think I've deviated from it up until date with all the businesses and entrepreneurship I've been involved in
Right.
from then till now.
Mm,
So whatever it is you're achieving, I'm not moved by you using my ideas because
mm,
it is not exactly how I want to present it,
mm,
or it is not exactly what I want to do. And even if it is, I have a unique selling proposition that I
mm,
am trying to push that I don't think I would share with you.
mm,
You cannot have my vision.
mm,
That is it. I cannot be you, you cannot be
mm,
me. And the point we all have to hold there is that we have to know what is our special source
mm,
and how to keep honing that such that no matter where we are, we would be irreplaceable.
mm. Well, you also taught me the abundance mentality, which I've always carried through the years. And honestly, because I have that understanding, I do not feel fears about anything. But recently I was tested, when I gave up some information, to someone, and then something I wanted to do or something I was doing, and then the person took my idea, and of course I'm human. I was angry about it. And I called you, and I remember back then you told me that is not stopping anything. You still go ahead, do what you want to do it better, do it bigger. The person cannot steal your idea of how you want it done. He can only have his own plans of how he wants to do it, but you have your own plans of how you want to do it, and just continue. And really, when I sat down and I implemented that, it made a lot of sense.
One thing I always also say is that the reason why there's a fake is because there's an original.
Mm.
You wouldn't create a fake
Mm.
if we didn't have an original.
Yeah.
There is God and there is the devil. There is white and there is black.
Mm.
So, and there is white and there is gray.
Mm.
If it is not white, it isn't white.
Mm.
So you just have to understand that.
Mm.
And that is in you staying true to your purpose.
Mm.
And the truth is, from the well in which you got that inspiration, there is more if you dig deep enough.
Yeah.
So that's how I see life.
Mm.
And if you're not trying to be someone else,
Mm.
I found out that inspiration, ideas, concepts, and the likes will come to you almost naturally, such that you wouldn't be stranded by anything.
Mm.
So that's why I say, think from the point of view of abundance, think from the point of view of having a whole lot.
Mm.
And then when you want to operate or when you want to live life, your results would be will emanate from that mindset, and it is always more beautiful.
Yeah. And one more advice you gave me that day is, okay, with all of this, I hope you've also learned your lesson. I mean, keep your information to yourself. You told me that. Okay. So my next question is, you're always willing to help, without wanting anything in return. A lot of persons always give or help people because, of course, they want something in return. But you do not care if the person returns the favor or if anything comes out from that, right? So how can we cultivate such selflessness, right? Without fears or worries. How do you think you can become selfless?
Um, the first thing I'll say is you have to be intelligently selfless.
Mm,
When I mean you have to be intelligently selfless, is you know exactly what it is that you need
mm,
in achieving what you want in life,
mm,
and you make sure that that is already secured in the first instance.
mm,
Because no, for you to work towards making sure that you are also the person that they see
mm.
solid enough for them to keep coming back, you also have to look good.
Right,
You also have to have results. You
right,
also have to be successful.
right.
So the first thing is whatever it is you're working towards,
Mm,
whatever it is that you are doing that is your sole purpose or
mm,
your sole venture or
mm,
your preneur, as I like to joke about it, you must keep whatever resource is going to help you achieve that
mm,
first and foremost.
mm,
At the end of the day, the, our purpose in life is simple:
mm,
serve God, serve humanity.
mm,
In the work you're doing, you're serving humanity.
mm,
After you've been able to successfully lock that down,
mm,
that is in the bag, then you can now say, okay, I have so much resources left.
mm,
How can I help everybody achieve their own purpose?
mm,
From that point of view, you don't need them to necessarily pay you back,
mm,
because in the first instance, you have locked yourself in.
mm,
You have made sure that whatever it is that you need
mm,
to achieve to the capacity that you can protect yourself or make sure you do not fail, you have secured that.
mm,
So after that, whatever it is that you give, you know, it is almost of it is almost from the point of view of being magnanimous.
mm,
And then, but the thing is, you can only control what you give to others. You
mm,
can't control their response.
mm,
So the point, you understanding the fact that you cannot control their response
mm,
helps you not to expect anything back.
mm,
It is now their decision
mm,
to know if they want to be an asset or a liability, to
mm,
know if they want to be an ally, to know if what they, to forge a part of who they want to be with you.
mm,
That is now their decision and not
mm,
yours.
mm,
If they want to be that,
mm,
they would one way or the other work themselves into being that to you
mm,
without you even asking,
mm,
because naturally they want to find ways to make sure your life is easier.
mm,
And that is how unknowingly I've been able to build a lot of network, a lot of relationships
mm,
that I can call upon, and then they would answer me
mm,
without even flinching, because they know that at one point or the other they can also either reach me or they have reached me in the past for one
mm,
form of help, and I
mm,
have granted it without trying to hold back.
mm,
So it is the way you build solid relationships.
mm,
And life is all about, even God, Jesus Christ had to die for him to have all of us. I
mm.
feel that is the biggest investment. I would say Yahoo, but it is the biggest form of Yahoo. You just come, only you die, and then you have billions of people to you. So God is God all by himself. He has angels and everyone worshiping him.
Mm,
But he still threw a peace to us.
mm,
Without, they will tell you God can raise stones, but he still had to send his son, and they would give us the story of it has to be out of love.
mm.
That he loved us is why he did it. Whatever it is, he has first secured his praise from angels, from the leaves, from the trees. It is now our decision to either want to worship him or not.
So that means he paid the price. Like everyone has a price to pay.
Yes. So you just have to have the mindset of, first I have to secure myself. I have to be comfortable in my skin. I have to be comfortable in achieving the purpose that I want to achieve.
Mm,
When I'm sure of that,
mm,
then whatever, I would definitely have a lot more to give.
mm,
and then I can now give to people
mm,
without expecting anything back.
mm,
They are the ones that know the importance of and the weight of what it is you gave them.
mm,
They are the ones that know if they also want to keep that door opened
mm,
and refreshed. So they need to also water that relationship
mm,
without you asking. The time you begin to ask, then it becomes coerced
mm,
and it is not smooth anymore.
mm,
Not out of every 10 you give, you might not have more than one or two that would come back.
mm,
Jesus Christ did a miracle for healed 10 people or how many lepers, and only one came back.
yeah.
And that's the one that became whole.
Mm,
So it is not unique to you.
mm,
It is just you understanding the fact that and that is stopping from healing another person.
mm,
So you just have to understand the fact that you have to have yours.
mm,
You have to keep what it is that is yours
mm,
in helping you achieve your purpose.
mm,
And then every other person can have a jolly good ride.
mm. So that means you have to be intelligently selfless. All right, so you are a savvy businessman. Like I said earlier, I've
You're
seen
scaring me.
a lot of business owners, brands, persons come up to you for advice, and more often than not, just spot on. So I'd like to know, how do you maintain humility? With all of this, how do you maintain humility being this person?
The first of it is you have to really understand the difference between self pride and arrogance.
Hmm,
Self pride you must have,
hmm,
arrogance you mustn't.
hmm,
Arrogance is from a place of ego, is from a place of self aggrandization.
hmm,
And but self pride is what you need in achieving that purpose that you have.
hmm,
So, for whatever character trait you want to exhibit part time,
hmm,
do a soul search quickly in
hmm,
under split seconds to know what part of you are feeding.
hmm,
Are you feeding the part of your ego, or are you
hmm,
feeding the part that is helping you move forward in life?
hmm,
When you do that quick soul search, it helps you to know, oh, you would know if you're right or if you're being arrogant,
hmm,
and you would know if this is self pride, because you
hmm,
can't be you can't be unnecessarily stupid and you call it humility.
hmm,
You have to find a balance, and that balance is you understanding. But the way I have been able to do it
hmm,
is I do a quick soul search of that character trait I want to exhibit at that time.
hmm,
To know, oh, is this to fuel my ego, or is this to help me achieve my aim on earth?
hmm,
Or is this to help me fulfill a purpose?
hmm,
If it is to fuel my ego and make me feel like I have arrived,
hmm,
then I know it is not from a pious place.
hmm,
It is not from a sincere point.
hmm,
But if it is to help me express myself better, push my points across,
hmm,
achieve one thing or the other, then I know, oh, or for the greater good of the people, then I know it is a point of confidence, and naturally humility will be in that because I recognize that it is for a greater good.
hmm.
So that is how I do it.
Soul search. You taught me that.
It is the best way to go about it.
Hmm,
That is it. But people do not
really?
know because people have not even discovered self.
Hmm,
So most of the things people do, most of the decisions they take is from a place of self-aggrandization.
yeah.
And self-aggrandization is naturally a branch of pride of arrogance.
Hmm.
And that is why you see a lot of people the regular question in Lagos traffic, you know who I am?
That annoys me,
That's the regular question in Lagos traffic. Who are you? The regular question is, I will show you who I am. That's because you want to. We are so silly with our mindset in Nigeria that we name the generator I pass my neighbor. That's
Hmm,
how funny our mindset is. We want to even be we believe that we should be able to trample on our neighbor in a form. And then we put the generator near the person's window such that the person cannot sleep.
right.
So, but if you're just understanding, knowing that, oh, this is this, the way you relate to the next person, in as much as you will not be trampled upon, you would do it with a certain level of courtesy that shows that, yes, you're respectful, you're humble, but you also know what is yours.
Hmm. As it should be. I hope that was helpful. Okay, so my next question as we round up is a very important question. You are a mentor to a lot of successful proteges, right? And what advice would you offer someone who maybe the person has experienced repeated failures in business, and now the person has even stopped putting in effort to become their best self? The person has lost the zeal, the drive, you know, to become their best self. What advice would you have for such a person?
Okay, I have a very interesting belief about failure.
Hmm,
The first of it is our school system has taught us not to fail, and the best life lessons are actually gotten from failure
hmm,
because it teaches you how not to do that thing.
hmm,
So I would say the first thing is stick to your purpose, be flexible,
hmm,
but yet be sure of your results. You
hmm,
can't be rigid when you want to achieve something.
hmm,
So from the point of flexibility,
hmm,
you're more in the headspace of
hmm,
of picking the lessons
hmm,
from failure.
hmm,
I have failed a lot of times.
hmm,
More recently, I had a very huge one last year that you know about.
hmm,
And after all that happened, I sat down and asked myself, what is it? What is the lesson for me in this?
hmm,
And it helped me rearrange my whole investment and business portfolio.
hmm,
Oh, if I do not do that, if something like this happens again, it's going to keep me very exposed. Do
hmm,
I want to be this exposed again such that it even affects my health?
hmm,
No. So I had to start thinking of other things
hmm,
and other businesses to invest in, to
hmm,
put my effort in,
hmm,
such that whatever happens, God forbid anything, I'm not perfect, something that doesn't go the way I want to happens again, I'm not going to be that blindsided. I'm not going to be that hurt.
hmm,
So failures would definitely happen.
hmm,
And another thing you have to believe is there's nothing as important as an idea whose time has come.
hmm,
There's a place of time.
mhm,
There's a place of opportunity.
hmm,
There's a place of uh, there's a place of the of grace. Some
hmm,
people call it universe. Some people call it whatever name you choose to call it.
hmm,
Some people call it luck.
hmm,
Some people call it. I choose to call it grace because of my Christian background
hmm,
and the mercy of God,
hmm,
which you have to also ask for.
hmm,
Because in all honesty, there are people that actually have seen that good things just don't happen to.
hmm,
So that's how do you explain that?
hmm,
But when you are conscious enough to understand that there's a higher power,
hmm,
which I believe in,
hmm,
universe, grace, whatever you choose to call it,
hmm,
you would know what to do.
hmm,
There are also simple seed time and harvest processes that you need to invest in that will give you certain results.
hmm,
um, like you see companies have NGO departments and then they give to the media and they do this. They are not fools. The reason why they do that is because they also want certain level of goodwill, certain level of karma in the positive way, certain level of this. So you don't have to do it at their level, but at the level it could be as simple as giving your next door neighbor something that you know would help the person survive. It could be as when you help others, when when you have singleness of purpose and you are flexible enough to see your work process
hmm,
and learn from the failures you've had, there will always be incremental progress.
hmm,
It might be small, but at least you've made a step. You've taken a step forward.
hmm,
Singleness of purpose, number one. Being generous in ideas, in from the little that you have, be
hmm,
it intelligence sharing, be it information sharing, be it resource, food, whatever it is that you know at the level where you are you are positioned to help the next person with.
hmm,
Being then you also having the learning spirit, improvement. I call it canny, constant and never ending improvement.
hmm,
You wanting to get better than you were yesterday.
hmm,
As long as you keep putting all this together, you have singleness of purpose, you're generous, you have kani, which the Japanese will also call kaizen. You have you have you have that. You are working with successful people
hmm,
because if you work with five successful people, you're going to be the sixth. These are simple things that you engage in. You find worthy mentors. Not everybody is lucky enough to have people that are, but you could even find them in books.
hmm,
You get my point. You meditate a lot. You are focused on getting results and you are ready to do whatever it takes that is legit and sincere in achieving those things. When you put all this in the actual balance, success will come. Maybe not at the time you're expecting it, but it is never late. And when it comes, it's going to come out in the flavor or in the form that is needed to be accepted by the market that will pay you quality dollar for it.
Hmm. Whoa.
So that is what I think.
Right.
Stay
Thank you.
focused,
Hmm.
push on, don't be disappointed. Yes, you're allowed to cry. I don't believe in the statement that men don't cry. Every human being cries. Even Jesus wept. So I don't believe in that statement. Cry when you have to cry, but snap out of it as early as possible. What is it that I have to learn from this failure?
Hmm.
How did I get here? What is it that I need to do so that I don't get back here? What are the stop gaps I need to put in my processes that makes me see this type of mistake early enough such that I don't fall into it again? And all that. Ask yourself the right questions. The mind is beautiful enough that whatever question you ask of it, you get an answer. If you ask a stupid question, you get a stupid
Stupid
answer.
answer. Yeah.
If you get a right question, you get a right answer. So it's just a balance.
Hmm.
And eventually you will find yourself achieving the result you desire.
Whoa. Thank you so much. Like, I actually consider myself lucky because having you in my life has helped grow my mental tenacity. I know a lot of times when I go through things, you've taught me to not wallow in it, but instead think about how to snap out of it, how to make things better, right? And I am so privileged to have you. I hope and I know my viewers today learned a whole lot from this session. And I am honored to have you as my brother. I tell you that every time. I adore you, literally. You guys do not have an idea who this man is to me and how much he has helped my life. You have no idea. Like, apart from God, my parents, every other result you see, like, I am grateful to God that God gave him
I am
to
also
me.
very proud of you.
Thank
Every
you.
day I see you, I'm grateful to God that I was opportune, or God gave me whatever it is to be there for you in the ways that I have been. Like I tell you, you have me any day, anytime. I promise to keep being that person to you, and I love you.
I love you, my brother.
Take care.
So thank you so much. And yes, I hope today's session was very helpful, very informative. Please like this video, share this video, subscribe to this channel if you haven't, right? And if you have any questions, please leave your questions down below. I'll be ready to provide answers as much as I can. So till next week, when we'll be back with a new video, I want you all to have a great week.